and welcome to Crown Chat. I'm your host, Nichelle Miller. I'm also your Pure International Elite Ms. Heartland USA. If it's your first time with us, welcome. If it's your second, third, fourth time, welcome back. I'm so honored to have you here and introduce you to some of my royal, amazing friends. Tonight, I have someone that I have been following on social media for the last couple years, and she's amazing, and I can't wait to share her with you guys. We've never even personally met until tonight, so this is huge. I'm excited. Wanted to share just a little bit about me. Like I said, I'm your Pure International Elite Miss Heartland USA. My platform is The Power to Dream, which is about empowering girls and women to pursue their goals and dreams no matter their circumstances or environment. So part of my mission with Crown Chat is to be empowering to other queens to share their journey with all of you. So I hope that you enjoy. Tonight, I have a very, very special, she is getting ready to hit the pageant trail in 5 days, y'all. But I'm going to let her introduce herself to y'all. So here we go. Queen.
Hello.
Hello. Introduce yourself.
My name is Elyssa DiRaddo. I am Miss Collegiate Indy 2023 through Miss Indiana and the Miss America Opportunity. I am a music therapist by day and then a title holder in disabilities right advocate, I guess, all time of the day. And I am competing for Miss Indiana. I move in on Monday, which is chaotic and crazy to think, but here we are. It's coming.
Wow. 5 days. I know. I compete in 40 and I'm freaking. So 5 days and you seem so mellow. It's just, oh, it's okay. So how long have you competed in the Miss Indiana competition?
So my first competition was in February of 2022. And I was supposed to be a one and done girl. The story is I had two people in my life previous to this had thrown the idea of me competing or just being like, hey, there's a local if one of my friends wants to join. And I'm like, that's not they're not looking for me, right? I'm not the person they're looking for. And so in October of 2021, and I'll remember this for the rest of my life, I was extremely extra and did a different Halloween costume every day of the week for Halloween for work. And they all were a different song pun. Friday, I did Dancing Queen. So I am in a white tutu, black stockings, black bodysuit. And off Etsy, I bought a sash that said Miss Dancing Queen. And I wore the crown I wore during my junior recital in college. And I get a DM on Instagram. This had not been posted on the internet.
Okay.
I get a DM on Instagram. Hi, we think you'd be really good for the Miss Indiana organization. We think you should compete. And I'm like, this is a bit too weird. I go to the office and I'm like, you will not just believe what DM I just got. And they're like, Elyssa, just do it. And I went back and forth and I messaged friends who had competed in the organization who had talked about it before, asking them, do you honestly think I would be okay at this? Should I give it a try? Every single one of them going, please do it. And so I had signed up, ready to go. And the competition I originally signed up for was canceled. So then I had an extra month and a half, 2 months to prepare. I wasn't going to tell my parents and then did. And then won. It was one of those, but I knew when I went out there, I was like, I'm not letting these girls know this is my first time competing. I was so worried of the stereotype. And so I prepped every single night. That was my pastime, was editing my resume, was watching YouTube channels of what interview looks like, things like that. And then walked out there and won both preliminaries and then was one of the 2 women crowned, which I was not expecting. And the only reason I did it, I originally had said no in the DM, I'm too old. And they said, thanks to COVID, you're eligible for 1 more year. And I went, well, I got to do it now. Won and went, guess this is a thing I do now. And then I was ready to retire. And Miss Robin Fleming decided to say, nope, you're eligible again. And I had 10 days to turn around and be ready to compete. 10 days I was on stage, which meant my paperwork had to be ready within 3. And here I am going back to Miss Indiana for the second time, which is really an honor, to say the least.
Wow. And I just have to tell everybody watching, she doesn't have her crown and sash because she's a working queen and she was out doing the things.
I was out. My company was having an event today and I was like, I'll have time. Even if I'm out by 5 o'clock, that gives me 2 hours, all this. I had to take the person I support home that was a bit of a journey, making sure that she had everything. Then got lost in the parking garage and then hit 2 accidents on the way home. And I'm like, great. Of course I should have thrown it in my car, but here I am. We're going to make it all work.
Always, always. Let's see who's on here. Oh, somebody says woohoo, and you're always at Miss Amazing.
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Awesome. So you made a comment about you don't fit the stereotype for Miss Indiana. Explain that to us.
I've always grown up in a larger body. I am a 5'2" plus size Jewish woman. When most people think of Miss America, that is not the first thing that comes to their head. And so I always was like, girls who do pageants must have grown up doing them, know the exact way how to answer questions and like fit in this little box of like a pretty girl that knows how to talk, right? But I always looked and admired my friends who competed. I have a cousin who's actively in 5 days moving to Miss New Jersey. And I have one friend actively in a few days moving to Miss Ohio, and one who was first runner-up for Miss Ohio a few years ago. And so I knew girls who had competed, and I didn't have that stereotype on them, but it was just one of those things I knew they grew up with it.
Yeah.
And so when being a plus size woman, being a Jewish woman, we've had one Jewish Miss America, and that was in the 1940s. And so it was one of those of like, I'm not what they're looking for. Yeah. And then I realized, why is that not what they're looking for? Even if they don't pick me, at least I can show that a plus size girl can be decent at what we're doing, even if they don't win.
Yeah.
And then realized I was the only thing stopping myself. I was the only one telling myself I didn't fit the mold, right? And how quickly people saw my talent and that I was good at what I was doing and that I was a good advocate and that I had the skills necessary to be Miss Indiana gave me more courage and understanding of myself to be like, no, I don't let this define me. I don't let these 3 random things define me. I have so many qualities. They're just part of who makes me unique and part of my story.
I love it. I love it. And you stood out to me because I saw you and I was like, look at this girl. And I was like, she is stunning and she is talented. And for me, that kind of drew me to you because you weren't the cookie cutter Barbie pageant girl, because I'm not either. And so it makes you very, very relatable. And I think it's really important that little girls see more us's in the world to say, you know what? I can do stuff. You know, it's just like you said, it's my mindset that's kind of keeping me out of things. So I love that.
And once I started competing, I saw that I was not the only one who was having this moment. The fact that I've been able to connect with other plus size competitors or curvy competitors in not even just Miss America, but other systems, being able to see that there is this common battle and thing that we are working towards, I think is the more representation there is, the more girls are going to see this. I'll never forget last year at Miss Indiana, we go to a few summer camps and to our sponsors and things like that. And we went to one summer camp and there was a little girl and she walks up to me. She goes, "You're the big queen." But with the biggest smile on her face. And I'm like, yes, I am. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm still pretty. I'm still articulate. I'm still able to do all that. And she just if there was no idea that was a bad thing. It was just like, that's what your job is here, right? You're here to be the big queen. I'm like, kind of. I'm here to be representation so that you could see that. And being able to talk about just learning to love yourself in your own skin. And that was something I got to talk about with those kids. When we were going around, they kept asking us, "Where'd you get your shoes? Where'd you get your dress?" Like every question either involved, for me, especially for me specifically, they were calling out girls in certain professions or certain cities because they knew people who were doing them.
Okay.
And I was the only girl from Fishers because I used Fishers as my location. And they're like, "Who's the girl from Fishers?" "My cousin lives in Fishers." And then it was all about our clothing, right? Where'd you get your shoes? Like, how'd you get your hair to do that? And it was us really getting to talk about, I got it from the store, but that doesn't mean I spent an arm and a leg on it. That doesn't mean just because I shopped at this store means I'm pretty, right? And we were able to have that conversation. And it seemed to be that conversation that collectively 20 of us were having seemed to have gotten through to a lot of these kids because they were continuing to bring it up throughout the day.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I just love it. And okay, speaking of you and kids.
Yes.
If y'all don't follow her on social media, I saw you singing
to
a little girl Was it for her birthday, I think?
Yes.
Was that okay? How did that come about?
So one of my former directors actually knows her dad. And so when they had posted, I don't know the full 100% story, but she about 6 weeks ago became hospital bound, had been on a ventilator, had stopped breathing at one point, really going through the thick of it. And we don't know if this is going to be something she fully ever recovers from. And so for her birthday, she already had a planned birthday to be Moana themed, right?
Aww.
And so she reached out to me and she was like, she really loves princesses. Her whole thing's Moana themed. I'd love for like you and like named a few other title holders would post about it. And so I sent the group chat to the girls that we were talking about, and it was one of those of like, yeah, we'll do it. And so for me, I'm a music therapist. I get to support people with disabilities every day. There are also music therapists in hospitals. I'm trained to be able to do that. And although I can't say what I did was not music therapy because I have never met this girl, but I knew she liked Moana. And there are videos of her on the internet attempting to sing Moana, even though she has very little voice right now. Just being able to show her another person is caring about her, even if they haven't met her before. Plus her love of princesses, I'm sure that put an even bigger smile on her face to be like, look at the crown.
Yeah.
So it was amazing when I got that text message. I'm like, of course I'll do that. That's right up my alley. Let's do it. And so hopefully I use the hashtag, hopefully it'll get to her. I tagged her mom in the comments. So her birthday was yesterday, her second birthday. And I believe yesterday she also had to go back into the ICU. So it was kind of a rough day, but she's pushing through. She's working to make improvements every day. So
awesome. I love it. That was the sweetest. As a mom, that just got me in the feels because I'm like, that is what a queen is about. It's about reaching out and catering to those that need that connection or that have that admiration for princesses and not being like, oh, I don't have time. But you took time and dedicated it specifically to her. And I was just like, oh, so
thank
amazing.
you.
So amazing. Okay. So tell us a little bit. I mean, I know in most systems it's called a platform, but for MAO, it's a service initiative. So tell us a little bit about your service initiative.
So my service initiative is called Inclusivity for All Abilities. As somebody who supports people with disabilities every single day, I see firsthand how the world looks at disabilities and how they perceive those who have disabilities. So often they're overlooked, they are underestimated, or we just don't believe the struggles they're having. We play them down because that can't possibly be happening, or we all feel pain. Like it's not that big of a deal. And then they come into therapies and they're telling me, and we talk about the goals they have. And a lot of it really just comes back to wanting people to understand them and respect them. And that's really not too much to ask. I don't feel like that's really something that's out of reach, right? But especially with people with disabilities, especially if it's neurological or sensory based, if we're going to look at autism, Down syndrome, things that are neurodivergencies, and especially if communication is involved, we often overlook their voices because they communicate differently. Or we assume they're not as intelligent because they communicate differently. And then I have these conversations and they're extremely intelligent. They just communicate differently. And my goal is never to make them like this inspiration, but they have been yelling at us and they have been telling us what they want for years. And we very, very, very recently have started hearing it more. And so my complete service initiative is really to listen to their voices and to share what they have been telling us in ways that we in our everyday lives, as well as legislatively, can make our society more accepting to those with disabilities, be able to make a more inclusive environment and understanding what we can do as a society so that everyone feels safer. Because ultimately people with disabilities, 1 in 4 adults in the United States have it. It's the one disability, it's the one marginalized community that you can join at any point in time in your life personally, right? Without that decision being made for you.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden this thing is put on you, and all of a sudden you see what's happening. And it's not fair. I also have a mother with a disability. And so it's just one of those things of we overlook them so often. And if we could just listen to their voices as a society, we would be in a place that's a lot more inclusive, not just to those with disabilities, but with all people.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. I was going to ask how you got involved with that, but you mentioned your mom. So that's beautiful. So how could people that are watching get involved with your initiative or be involved?
So first on my Instagram, I make sure I put educational materials out there on just simple ways that we within our lives can either understand disability better or things that we can do in our lives. So whether that's social media or the type of language we use, being able to better understand disability. I then also have a podcast called Inclusivity for All. I actually just posted a new episode yesterday. Yeah, Tuesday. Yesterday, where I interview people with disabilities and we talk about their life experience, what's happened from their own perspective, and allow them to talk about it. And it's been really amazing to hear it from their perspective. I've had diabetes. I've had partially deaf people come on. I've had people with Down syndrome, autistic people, as well as people with autism, depending on how they identify themselves. And being able to really hear their voices. So that is where I lead people the most, because they'll often tell themselves first what they want and what they're asking for, and hear their perspectives.
That is awesome. So, okay, you are a title holder that's going to Miss Indiana in 5 days. You are volunteering with your initiative. You are working full time. Mm-hmm. What do you do in your spare time, if you have any?
My spare time, I feel like I turn everything in my spare time into something for like a use. It's like, we could talk about the boundaries of that one, but I do have a dog. Her name is Ginger. She is 8 years old, looks like a corgi, acts like a corgi. 2 DNA tests, turns out she's 100% not a corgi. I call her, she's the off-brand, right? I didn't get a corgi, but she looks like one and acts like one, so people call her that. It's not a Gucci belt, but it has 2 G's on it, so therefore people think it's Gucci. But
love it.
Time with her, taking her to the park, to the farmers markets. I'm somebody that's very community based in what I do. But then also I find so much enjoyment within MAO and my friends within MAO that if you look at how many locals I have attended, especially when I was originally losing the opportunity to compete, I wanted to continue supporting these women. I was originally supposed to be joining the board of a local.
Oh my goodness.
I was already set up to be on the board as a social media coordinator. And then they were the ones who texted me actively during the meeting was happening. So I'm still running it, but also as a title holder.
Wow. Wow.
I currently have 5 Instagram accounts on my phone.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. We talk about free time. They all end up coming back into something with Miss America or something with my job.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. So what is the biggest gain you've received from competing?
I would say better understanding of who I am as a person, not just in confidence, but like where my strengths and weaknesses are. I was somebody I very much questioned myself at times and what I was good at, right? When I started competing, there's no way I would be good at walking in an evening gown. There's no way I would be good, like interview. How could I, I don't know what I'm walking into. And then from preparing, it has taught me, no, Elyssa, trust your instinct, right? What you're doing is working. What you're doing makes sense. And better understanding and reading of myself and to give myself credit for what my strengths are, I think has been the biggest thing. And then that has helped me then for other women who are seeking that still better give that to them. And don't let the game, right? Like the idea of like the big temptation, like big worry of the big crown of Miss Indiana, like get in your way. Do what's going to make you happy. What is going to make you happy is going to be what you're most successful in. And just trust that in yourself. What gown do you want to wear? That's the gown you're wearing. I don't care if another girl has the same dress. I don't care if you're worried that the slit is just like 1 inch too high. You adapt. What dress are you going to be confident in? That's the dress you wear, right? If you are worried what to say in an interview, it's going to be the thing that you actually want to say because you're not going to question it. And really having that trust in yourself, I think has been the biggest thing that I've gained from all of this and has helped me throughout the rest of my life and my career, kind of everything that I do.
I love that. I love that. So, what would you tell someone that's debating? They're thinking about competing in an MAO system, local, but they're like, I'm not that girl. What would your advice be to them?
Why are you not that girl? I'm never gonna say the pageant is for every single girl that's ever walked the planet. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's valid. There are people that this could possibly put more harm, right? The idea of comparing yourself, if you are unable to, if you are not in a point to get overcome that battle, I'm not gonna ask you to do it. I want you to do what's positive for you. But why are you not that girl? And can we find somebody out there who's doing it with a similar thing to you? Right? For me, I'm a plus size girl. I didn't think there was representation. And then you find representation. I have Emaloni. I have several local title holders throughout the country. There are several of us going to be separately on the Miss Indiana stage. And so finding that what is stopping you, and is that something you can either A, change and grow, right? Is that a weakness of yours you can grow? Or B, is that something that probably should be represented that you could be that representation for? In understanding that, I think really then gives you a story and a path that would make you successful if you are mentally prepared to work on yourself and to go down that path. Because competing is about self-growth, being able to better understand how to communicate, better understand how to keep somebody's attention on stage and to advocate what's important for you. So really find what is that niche of why are you saying this isn't for you? Is it a mental health thing, or is it something that probably you can grow or pageantry can grow from you competing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have a comment. Yes, Rhonda. She says, I'm 205 pounds and 57 in age. I'm proud of me. Yes, ma'am.
There's a lot of vulnerability that comes into competing at no matter what height or what size, especially with Miss America adding fitness back in. I think a lot of women, no matter what size they were, it was one of those of, oh, what does that mean? Right? What do we mean by fitness? What are they going to, am I going to be expected to do the old teen routine of jumping jacks and then the running man and touching my nose to my knees? Like, is it, because there are women who maybe are straight size who can't do those things either. Right.
Yeah.
And then acknowledge that as women, those are just skills that might not be the same as when you were in a teen body, and that's okay. Some women absolutely can still do it. Some women that's not. And so I think just it helps everyone be able to feel represented. I've had parents or people come up to me and that their parent has said that they wish they had somebody like me on that stage be representative because they said they couldn't do things and now they're seeing girls do this and they've seen women do this and they know that they have the opportunities and that this wasn't a barrier and that they could have broken this barrier as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. I love that. Yeah. I remember the teens, and it's probably the same routine. A few years ago, they were doing the jumping jacks and then the push up and then and I'm like, and then they're, the plank with one arm. And I was like,
One arm up.
I'm like, oh, I could never do that. I could do it on one side, not the other side. But yes.
Yeah. I believe my understanding is it is changing this year. Okay. But last year, that was the routine.
Okay.
There was no jump. There was no jump last year. They got rid of the jump, but everything else.
Oh.
Okay. There used to be like the jump split type of thing. And apparently it just like every girl by the end, I was like, we're done. We're done. And on the hardwood floor too, they're like,
yeah,
I don't care how good my knees are. That hurt.
Yeah. Not a good time. Not a good time.
Nope.
Awesome. So what's your favorite area of competition?
Talent, 100%. I find a lot of purpose in every area of competition, but the thing that gave me the most courage to compete was talent. I have a bachelor's degree of music in music therapy. And so being able to sing on stage is something I've done all my life and love. And something that I did always have, not always, as an adult, have always had confidence in. It really took till I was probably about a sophomore in high school to realize I did have something. I needed a little bit of training just to line me up.
Yeah.
Plus, my voice is not your stereotypical, like, girl who would sing in the musical, be the lead voice. It's not. It's opera. It's very big, very dramatic. My mic got turned off in high school while I was the wardrobe in Beauty and the Beast, which her French name translates to Madam with the Big Mouth. My mic got muted. So if that explains my voice, right? I was so loud that they muted the girl with the big mouth.
Wow.
So for me, it gives me an opportunity to share this thing that I was always confident about. And even when I started competing, it was Hey, I might not know how to walk in an evening gown. You can't tell me I can't sing. You can't tell me I can't sing. I don't care. You give me a 0. You can't tell me I can't sing. And so for me, that's always been the area of competition I've been most comfortable in and what gave me the courage to compete in the first place. And last year I ended up leaving with the non-finalist and newcomer talent awards. And so it was just a really rewarding moment to be like, no, you're right, Elyssa. What you've got something, use it. So I'm really excited to be able to bring my talent back to the Miss Indiana stage.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Can you tell us what you're singing this year, or is it a secret?
It's a secret.
Okay. Right. We'll have to go to Miss Indiana to see everybody. That's what we'll have to see.
It'll hit the Instagram. Don't worry. It'll show up, but
I can't, and I'll see it because I stalk you. I mean, I follow you, not stalk.
One and the same.
Okay. Random questions.
Yeah.
Does your current car have a name?
No. I feel like that's partly because like it feels like I adopted it. It was my grandparents' car. And then when I went to college, they were getting rid of one car, so then I got that car. So like part of me was like, it's not, I don't know. For some reason I just never named it, but like I've thought about it. I'm like, it probably should have a name. But my car is very recognizable, especially in college, because I was the girl from Illinois that was an AOPI and a music therapy major, and all 3 of them were on my car. So like I was the only girl who was all 3. Only girl in the entire campus of 25,000 people that fit all 3. Now it is a little bit less recognizable because it's an Indiana license plate, but still has AOPI and music therapy on it. So the AOPI one's slowly like disappearing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Oh, I love it. That's awesome. Okay. This one's probably going to be really easy for you. You have to sing karaoke. What song do you pick?
You say that's easy, and I have like 500 songs in my music therapy repertoire, but I am known in my caseload, especially with young women, for Girl on Fire. Okay. I can jam. I can go. I think that's got to be what it is for karaoke. I know every word. Pull it up, stick that capo on, I can go. But then again, I literally today at work, I was at a baseball game for work today, which was fun. But the person I brought who I support started singing Let It Go in the stands. Quite the time. That is one of her like 4 songs, like her big 4 was Let It Go. And so then people would walk up and she would like put her stuff down. She's like so ready. Okay. And we're thinking she's like ready to have a conversation. Then you just hear, let it go. Really loud. So
it's her jam. It's okay.
It's her jam.
Well, good. Everybody.
In the car ride back, I was like, what song do you want to do? I didn't offer Frozen because I knew there was no way she could do it quietly. Just it was not going to happen. We ended up doing Beyonce on the way back.
Okay. Okay.
So I just love that we go from Frozen to Beyonce and Usher. Like
balance.
Like,
it's all about balance.
It's all about balance.
Awesome. Are you an early bird or a night owl?
I want to be an early bird, but I'm not. I am very much a night owl. It's one of those things I've been trying to train myself for a little bit more, at least to like move it up in my day. Cause right now it feels like I could stay up till 2 a.m. and like I still have energy, but I am very much a night owl. Unless I'm like have to be a night owl, and then I become an early bird because I'm told I have to be a night owl.
Right. It's that same. It's that opposite. Tell me to do it. I'm going to do the opposite.
Exactly. Not even my choice. My body's just going to say
it. So funny. So funny. What is the best book you've ever read?
I am currently reading How to Be a Badass, which is really fun.
Jen Sincero. Jen, is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Love that one.
I'm still actively in it, but it's one of those like it's not one of those where it's like you need to like connect with your spirit and right, like where it's like, okay, well, like how do you do that? It's very realistic, but yet like keeps you engaged. And I'm about halfway through right now. I'm like, I'm determined to get that done at least before my interview with Miss Indiana. But I'm someone, I grew up with some type of reading delay. I never got a diagnosis of a reading disability. So reading was just something I didn't love, right? It took me a really long time to kind of find any enjoyment in it. I not faked my way, but up until high school, everyone knew my English was my weakest subject. Like by far, that was the thing that kept me off high honor roll. was because English was worth double and I would get a B- because I would like get my way through it, which like sounds bad, but if everything else was in the A's, A-, B+, and then English would kill me comparatively. And so I was getting pulled out of special ed classes. I was getting all this support, and they never fully understood my reading and like how my brain processed it, because they would ask me to read out loud. I didn't read it. I heard it. So then you ask me questions. I heard it. I didn't read it. Right. Like I understood it from the ear. So then they're like, well, she understands everything she reads. And I literally later, like I would explain it to people and I'm like, I don't understand. Like I would read a word. I don't read the sentence.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a really long time to kind of get out of that. And I was getting support, but it was definitely one they didn't fully understand. I don't blame the school on that. But then when I look at my work every day now as a music therapist, it's important to ask why.
Yeah.
Right. Or like just understanding their perspective. So if you could get those little pieces, it really helps you understand them as a person and then how to best support them in the long run. If this is something that they want to improve on or that they want to work on.
Definitely. Definitely. Wow. And I love that book. It's such a good book. She has 2. I've read
I think it's 3 now.
Is it really?
I think so. I don't remember what the third.
I'm going to have to find that. Because I've read the first 2. So I'll have to find.
I was going to say, I can't remember what the third is about, but I'm still in the first.
Okay. Okay. It's good. You'll love it. All right. Well, if you were in the Olympics, what sport would you compete in?
I actually got to bring this up a little bit earlier. So I feel like it officially got added, but I know it was a conversation at one point. I was a 4-year varsity athlete in golf and was captain for 2 years and was this short to being all regional. That's another story. I screwed up one hole. It took my time away. But golf, I literally at the age of, I picked up my first golf club at 2.5. My parents thought I went missing. I took the golf club. There used to be the geese that you would dress up in your front yard. Mm-hmm. I dressed up as a golfer. I feel like most people, it's like, I'm the youngest person that knows what this thing is. I don't know what the thing was called, but I dressed up a goose every day in the morning. I don't know. And I dressed it up as a golfer. And so I apparently just walked out the front door one day at 2.5. I didn't talk till I was 3, so I had no words either. 2.5, walk out the front door, take the golf club off the goose, go in the garage, take the golf balls out of my dad's like golf thing and started putting. So then my dad went, I guess we're putting her in golf. At 7, one of the pros in the local golf course pulls my dad aside. He's like, "You gonna keep her in golf?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, as long as she enjoys it." And he goes, "No, you keep her in golf." He goes, "What?" And he goes, "Golf is the easiest athletic scholarship for a girl to get. It is no longer number 1. I believe it is now number 2.
Oh, wow.
Behind bowling. So put your daughters in bowling and golf." But he was like, "Yeah, because you have to give the equality of scholarships, and there are less women golfers than there are men. And so there's this competition for men at many schools, but like they don't have enough girls to compete." And so like from the age of 7, I was basically told I was going to go on a full ride for golf. That is not what happened. I'm good. If I did not become a music major, I probably would have pursued going to college for it more. Mm-hmm. But I knew it was a possibility for me. So I feel like that's the direction I would have gone. Not that I don't think I ever would have been an Olympic athlete type of thing, but that's definitely the route I probably would have ended up going if I could go to the Olympics.
That's so cool. That is so cool. Okay. Are you a coffee or tea drinker?
Tea. As a child, the smell of coffee was just like too much for me. I have this thing with smells. Several foods I don't like because of their smells. And then it became a point where it's like, I probably shouldn't pick up this thing. Like it'll probably be bad for me in the long run. So now it's tea. Not to say I don't get my caffeine intake in. I just get it in different ways.
Okay.
Now, actually, the past month or 2, until today, basically I'd cut soda out for like a month and a half.
Wow.
Just because I was trying to get myself to get 100 ounces of water in a day. It was like one of my goal. Did I hit it? No. Did my water intake increase dramatically and my caffeine intake decrease dramatically? Absolutely. And now, of course, it's in my car, but I am becoming a Stanley Cup dupe girl. And it seems to be helping. And I joke because I carried around like a baby. Is this an emotional support cup now? Because I had one guy I supported goes, it just looks so much like you, Elyssa. I go, yep, so purple. Like, but no, I definitely lean tea. My mother always would have iced tea in the house. And so I always leaned that way.
Okay.
And then it was just one of those, like, I might like coffee. We're not doing it to me now. And it's one of those I don't want to mess and like figure out the perfect Starbucks recipe. That's going to cost me $7 every time. And then I get addicted to it. So
yes. Yeah. Not worth it. Okay. Now you've mentioned it. So I have to ask, what are some of the foods you don't like because of the way they smell?
Peanut butter.
Oh, that is my jam.
No, it was too much for me. I don't know. Any like peanut butter. I could do almonds. I don't love them. I could do them. I could do pistachios, but like most nuts, I don't know why. It was not that. Coffee was the other big one, and coconut. Those are like the big three that as a child, there was a whole story with mustard, but I now eat mustard. But mustard was just yellow. It was just weird to me. And then my parents would use spicy mustard. And so then it was just like brown and yellow. And it was like, why would I eat this thing?
Yeah.
But those are the big three that the smells like just were not it. It was too much. I won't eat it. And at this point, I still don't eat really any of them. I could do coconut in something like a little bit, but still not I wouldn't go like choose to order it type of thing.
Oh my goodness. And I always think of like, because I'm so paranoid about my breath when I eat peanut butter and then I'm like, well, people have nut allergies, but I never thought about the smell, like triggering somebody. See?
And like now I'm fine with it. But like as a kid, it was just like the smell just like got it for me. I'm like, that's my sensory issue. That's where my sensory is hidden, right?
Oh,
I'm loud as can be. Hearing is nothing. Like if anything, I probably lack hearing because I'm so loud. Sight, I got told I had like over perfect vision. And then, so like, I guess smell is just like my weird, that's where boundaries get drawn. I love spinach. It wasn't sight. I ate green things, but the smell, no story.
Oh, I can't do green things. So I don't know. Okay. Fair enough. You sang as a Disney princess, but who is your favorite Disney princess?
I feel like I always leaned to Beauty and the Beast because I was in the show twice. And I mentioned earlier, I was the wardrobe. In high school, I was the wardrobe. I got to wear the big, like Wagner headpiece. I got to literally sing a high G and make my friend flip backstage. It was a lot of fun. And then they turned my mic off on me. Only in ensemble numbers. I'll give myself that. In ensemble numbers, they turned me off, but in solos, I was allowed to stay on.
Okay.
Low, but I was on. And then in middle school, that was the first time I had ever gotten a like supporting role that was not in the ensemble family. And I was Mrs. Potts, which fun fact, they used to be like in the original writing, it was only the wardrobe. The two characters were merged into one.
Oh.
But it was bigger than Belle. So they kind of had to like make the motherly figure and make the diva figure like two different people.
Wow.
And so it's like I really just like shifted from one to the other. Like it's the evolution of Elyssa growing up is like the motherly to the sassy, apparently. So I feel like I've always leaned into Belle, plus like the fact that she is a strong woman. She's not afraid to say no.
Mm-hmm.
She's not going to just fit into the mold because we tell her to fit into the mold. I'm not going to say she's perfect. There's definitely parts of the story that aren't the greatest, but I think if we're going to look as an overall, I think Belle is where I've always been drawn to.
Okay. Fair enough. Let's see. What's your favorite holiday?
I can't say April 25th. Is that not a holiday in our world?
It can be.
In our world, it is.
It is the best date. The perfect date.
Perfect date. Especially being Jewish, I feel like it's a little bit different. Just because a lot of my holidays, I'm kind of either have to take off work or it's just like not built into our calendar the way a lot of Christian holidays are. And so then it's like, what US holidays, right? Um, I love that Juneteenth is now officially celebrated, and that we're taking the opportunity to learn that. I also think I just love Labor Day because it's near my birthday, and I love fall, so I think we're gonna go there.
That's fair. I love it. I love it. Rhonda says yes. April 25th is a holiday in our world.
In our world,
Exactly. If you know, you know. If you're a true
yeah.
pageant girl, you know. What's a current fact about your current life that would impress your 5-year-old self?
That would impress my 5-year-old self.
Mhm.
At 5 years old, I said I wanted to be a kindergarten teacher. That's probably because that was the only job I fully knew.
Mhm.
But growing up, I always said I wanted to. I As a young girl, I would say these things. My mother said I gave her therapy at 7 years old. One day in the backseat of the car, so I would say things and be like, "What?" And that leads are we shocked I became a music therapist? But I would say that when I grew up, I knew I wanted to change the world. I wanted to know that when I die, again, 5-year-old me is talking about me at 95, that I knew I made an impact on somebody's life. And so that's why I want to be a kindergarten teacher. I knew that I would be able to change lives. I loved working with kids. I loved kids, even though I was a kid. But the idea of teaching seemed really fun, and being able to interact with kids every day, all this. And all my life up until high school, I always said I was a kindergarten teacher. I wanted to do early elementary. But the fact that I confidently today can say that I've made an impact on people's lives, and I am 26. And I'm sure my 5-year-old self might not fully understand it, right? But that's my job every single day. That I can do that. And then I do think 5-year-old me would be like, wait, you get to wear a crown?
Yeah.
You get to wear a crown and makeup and do your hair. And your hair is just not this really curly thing on the top of your head that you didn't like getting brushed. Now as it's in a ponytail, because again, baseball game. But I think honestly, I think being a title holder would be the big one. But then also this thing that I didn't know fully how to put into words at 5 and was finding that way. I think being able to say you've made an impact on a lot of people's lives in a lot of different ways, I think would really hit her. I remember, what was it? Bush Gore election. They did us if you were president, what would you do? What would you want to be? And apparently I basically wrote the perfect pageant, create world peace at 7. But my parents came home and went, Elyssa, you wrote that? And I went, yeah. And they're like, every other kid said paint the house pink. And you're sitting here going, we're going to find a way to end world hunger and make the world a more including place. So I'm 7 years old saying this. I think that would be the big one. It's just one that I get to wear a crown in general. That's socially appropriate, right? I'm not just wearing a crown every way. Hey, if you want to wear a crown everywhere you go, do it. I am all in for that. But the fact that there is a reason I am wearing a crown, I think would be really confusing but exciting for her.
Definitely. Definitely. And I love that you said that you've been able to be an impact, because I think that's so important that we leave something behind and a legacy. What do you want to be remembered for? And making an impact, changing the world, doing something for someone outside of ourselves. I love it. I told you I'm a total fan. I'm a total fan. All right. Have you ever worn socks with sandals?
Leaving the gym. I'll take my sneakers off and then put my Birkenstock dupes off, take them off. I don't know. I'm sure I've done it. Not often. And if I do, majority of the time it would be leaving for the gym or taking my dog for a walk or something like that. I'm sure my mother will later send me a picture proving me otherwise. We'll
Fair
see.
enough. Fair enough. Let's see. Ooh, if you had to delete every app from your phone except one, which app would you keep?
Except one?
Yes. And if you're like me, you have pages and pages of apps on there. Yep, you can only keep one. Which one are you keeping?
Probably.
Okay, I'll give you 3. You can keep 3.
Okay. Instagram for sure is one. Okay, it's definitely not on that page. It's not on that page. Probably messages and then the camera.
Oh. I wouldn't count camera. I think that's a utility.
That's a utility? Cool.
Yeah, we'll
And
count it as
photos
utility.
is a utility for the camera?
Yeah, I'd say those link up. You can keep those. Okay, what else?
Okay,
One
cool.
more.
One more. Group me.
Good ones.
The Miss Indiana chat is actively going off.
Hopefully they're watching you. They better be. They better be all watching.
They'll be getting the link if they're not. Don't worry.
If y'all aren't watching, you need to be watching her. Okay. So who did you select for your princess for Miss Indiana Week?
I don't have one. So sad.
Can I be it? Am I too old?
I would love to bring you on in. The book is printed, so we can't add your headshot. And the dancing might be a bit easy, but come on in.
Yes.
I wanted to have 2 of my cousins from New Jersey come in, but they're not off of school yet.
Oh my goodness.
Their last day is the week after Miss Indiana.
Wow, that's a late school year. I think we got out 2 weeks ago. So yeah, that's really late.
Indiana seems to be early, and New Jersey seems to be like the last.
Wow.
Which I think they don't actually start till after Labor Day. So that could be partly why. But she was even like, I feel like this is late for them.
Yeah.
I would say, because when I visit them, it's like the crown, and they're like, don't drop it. Well, like their heads are so tiny, the crown is as big as their head.
Yeah.
And so they're like, it's on. It's on. I was saying they're 2 sweethearts, and even though we live halfway across the country, obsessed with them, and I want them to be my Miss Indiana princess so bad, but school.
No,
probably shouldn't miss school. We're doing this for the scholarships, so
I don't know. I think it's important. I think they can get out. I think it's important. I think it's super important. Okay, so I know the ages have adjusted a bit. So will you age out at this year? Would this be your last year of eligibility?
I get 1 more after that.
Okay. But you're not going to need it probably. So we're not even going to worry about it.
We're optimistic.
We're not going to need it. We're not going to worry about it. Okay. Let's see. How do you keep everything organized? I mean, you run 5 Instagram accounts. You have a job and you volunteer and you're a title holder. How do you keep your life organized?
I think it's I have noticed I need to be able to compartmentalize, if I could say the word, my life into like what it is, and being able to separate it. And when I let them merge a little bit more, it gets more. That's when I become almost more unorganized, because I'm just letting my brain jump to whatever I have to do. Like I have a scholarship essay I have to write, and like I'm just like, go there, and I'm like, wait, nope, I'm at work. I have to work on this plan. Like, right. And if I let it go that way, versus it's like, okay, so like my first session's at 9 a.m. My last session's at 5:30. I might not leave the office, but like that time is work. And then like after that, I can work on whatever else needs to get done. I will say I'm somebody who like probably people would consider a semi-procrastinator. I have a plan, but it doesn't always get executed till the last minute. Like the plan is done, but knowing that, and then finding passion in what I'm doing, right? I find when I'm passionate about the thing that I am doing, I'm going to put my effort in, and it's easier for me to stay organized. I definitely have 100 calendars on my phone, and being able to like, when I make a hair appointment, I have to check 3 calendars.
Yeah.
Like I have to check my work calendar, and then I have to check my personal calendar. And then like just check like life calendar. Like, is there any major event going on that I should probably know about that day? And that seems help. And then make sure that reminders are always on, and be like 2 hours, you have to be at this thing.
Yeah.
1 hour, you have to be at this thing. And then one that I'm running into right now is really being okay saying like, yes, I can do this thing, or no, I can't. Like I have several events within the next week that I want to do. But I also don't want to have to do work at Miss Indiana. So that might mean I'm doing some work this weekend. But then also I have to pack. I have to go get a spray tan. I have to get my nails done, right? And then all of a sudden, like I am supposed to be at the Indy Pride Parade, balancing my day to make it all fit in, right?
Yeah.
And thinking ahead and like kind of having a schedule and a plan so that I'm not scrambling at the last minute.
Yeah. I think that's so important because it can be overwhelming. I mean, when you just have life and then you add in title holder duties and it's like, ah. So, yeah, definitely having a plan. Now, I don't have 3 calendars, so you're a little ahead of me. I do.
I want to merge them all into one, but I will say I use my work calendar, and when I have an appointment like on a work day, I do go into my work calendar and say out of office so I could see how many hours like Thursday's my paperwork day. If I have an appointment that day, I will block it off so that I don't double book myself work and personal or work and title holder. And I can say, okay, this time to this time, you're in the office doing paperwork. That's how you do it.
Awesome. Awesome.
And I have shown up to the office way too many times straight from a hair appointment. And they all go, your hair looks different. I go, let's not talk about it. Not in a ponytail today. I know. Last time I came in with extensions because we were matching my extensions. She goes, I didn't realize your hair's that long. And I'm like, I didn't even get in the building yet. And someone's already acknowledged my hair looks different.
Now, were they surprised at work to learn that you're a title holder? Was that a shock for some people?
Yes. It was definitely one of those things, especially like with my fear that I wasn't going to be good. I didn't tell many people. I had some people in my life who knew. I kept playing it down though, being like, I'm just doing it just to say I did it. Like they didn't know I was going home every night and doing mock interviews and working and having a local Miss New York running in the background. Like they didn't know that's what I was doing, but I was like, not going to be like, I'm going to win a title and then lose. Like I was so scared to do that. And then I started doing it. And it's one of those, I don't know, like I explain it. They all understand what I'm doing, but no, there's definitely aspects of like, wait, you're doing this thing? Like this is a thing you do?
Yeah.
What does this mean? And I'm like, well, you see, here's all the things. It was definitely something, but my company's been completely on board with me doing it. Has been love the fact that I am continuing to work on advocacy outside of work, like outside of these walls. I am supposed to, as long as the schedule, I'm sorry, Erin, as long as the schedule works out, I may be working on a Zoom call during a dress rehearsal because we have a major accreditation happening next week.
Oh, wow.
And one of them is about advocacy and what we do outside of the walls that is my company. And they went, Elyssa. I go, I'm actively doing it.
Yeah.
Actively competing. So my boss already is expecting me to show up in gown, hair and makeup on for this accreditation meeting. And I go, I'm not coming in the gown. Will my hair and extensions and full face be put on? Most likely. Because that means I can leave and just go put the dress on and go do the rehearsal.
Right.
She's like, I don't care. I'm excited to see you. Everyone else is going to look decent and you're going to come in at full glam.
I love it. I love it. I know. No Zoom camera off for you. You're going to be like, can you see me? Am I here?
You know, I already have joked. I'm like, when I go on, my name's Elyssa DiRaddo, and I'm going to be like, I'm sorry if I have to leave this Zoom call early, but I am actively advocating for disability rights at this very moment. So.
Love it.
But yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. Gosh, there's so much I want to ask you because I saw that you also take dance fitness.
Yes.
That.
So going in before even I was eligible for Miss America again, before fitness was added as an area of competition, I wanted to take the challenge and challenge myself and get fit. And I have learned about myself. I need somebody to keep me accountable. And signing up for a class helps me to go. And even because I used to do hot works, I was better, but there was nobody there to keep me accountable, but I had a time slot. So it helped, but it wasn't perfect. Versus a dance fit class, these instructors know me. One of my instructors is a previous Miss Collegiate Indy, I learned. Yeah.
That's so cool.
She just goes, what title are you one day? Like we're stretching. What title are you? I go, Miss Collegiate Indy. She goes, how'd you feel if I said I was that 10 years ago? And I'm like, what? She
Oh
goes,
my
I was.
gosh.
I'm like, what? I'm like, small worlds here, but it's been a lot of fun. It's something that's challenged me, but the atmosphere of this specific place, on the wall, it literally says, I move my body because I love it, not because I hate it. And it's something that they're promoting. Just get up and move your body. If that means you have to sit in a chair and do the leg movements only or the arm
Mhm.
movements only, do it. They have people do it. If that means your child is sitting, like, is doing the dance workout with us, just come and move.
Yeah.
Um, it's been really rewarding, and having that community and that group there, and it's in the same town as Miss Indiana, so a lot of them have like been like, wait a minute, you were at this event, and I go, yes I was. They've been so appreciative, and the fact that they were open to sponsoring me even when I was already paying for the service, right? That they have been all on board with me doing this and love the fact that I am ready to show body diversity and fitness at all sizes on the Miss Indiana stage, has been so amazing. And I've absolutely loved every person that I have met going in there.
I love it. I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, because I teach dance fitness and I was like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's so cool. So I love it. I love it. And I love that that's their motto because it is. It's just about moving. And it's not about, I always tell my class, I'm like, it's progress, not perfection. If you move today and you didn't yesterday, we're winning. So
Yeah.
move. So awesome. 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 Okay. So Miss Indiana's next week. How can our viewers support you? Is there a people's choice? What kinds of things can we do to support?
So the biggest way would be people's choice. The voting is actively live on the website. It is also in the bio on, for sure, my collegiate indie. If not, it is in my link tree on my personal as well.
Okay.
I think I linked them as a separate link on both, though. Can't
Okay.
promise.
I will.
That's the big one. We do also do a fundraiser through I can't think, Spot Fund. That's also in my link tree. But then also going on Instagram and showing your support for me and showing that you're seeing what I'm doing. I know the judges do have access to our Instagrams now. Honestly, will be beneficial in just showing that I have a community that is ready for me to be Miss Indiana and are excited for me to be Miss Indiana. And the same way with People's Choice, it's $1 a vote. So whether that's 1 vote, 5 votes, whatever you're able to give and feel inclined to give, I would be so appreciative of. And then, of course, coming Miss Indiana week, cheering as loud as you can be. I do on-stage conversation and community service initiative on Wednesday, as well as evening gown on Wednesday, talent Thursday, fitness Friday, and then final Saturday.
Wow. That is a week. I mean, you're going to be like, do.
Oh, it's a long week.
And then you guys all move in together. So how many girls are moving in next week?
So there are 37 Miss and 30 teens. The teens do not move into the dorms.
Okay.
So they just come and they get to like stay with their parents throughout the week and interact with directors and things like that. But the Miss move into the Butler dorms on Monday. We all just got our roommate matches. I'm so excited for my roommate match. It's actually one of the first women that like I felt comfortable in this organization with. She competed with me on my first day, and it was her, then my former sister, Queen Maddie, and then me in order at my first competition ever. And we just kind of became like this little trio.
Yeah.
Right. And going in, I felt like I had to be like this perfect pageant girl and like, don't say too much. Don't give away like what you've learned, right? Or like that I do or that I don't know what I'm doing. Like I felt like I had to play this game. And then we get up there and we are belting Hamilton and then talking about our like life traumas, like back to back and like completely like normal. I love Natalie to death. She's our current Miss Hoosier Hills, and I'm so excited to be able to room with her. She went, this is an iconic duo. I went, yes, it is. Bring it on. And the fact that it was one of the first women that I felt comfortable competing with, and then it got to the point where like she would continue competing at locals, and I would continually walk up to her, and I'm like, you're so close. Just keep going. And then she ended up winning sweeps. And my sister Queen literally is texting me going, you have to FaceTime me. I go, I'm supposed to go live. She goes, you're FaceTiming me. I go, guess I'll tell the girls somebody else has to live stream. And I'm just like this. And she's just bawling on my phone. I'm like, I'll go take you to Natalie. It's okay.
Oh my gosh.
But it's really exciting. And the dorms are so nice.
I'm excited.
I even said it last year. If I could pay rent and just get what my duo was as a single, I would do it. Like I would, they are nice. But of course they're dorms, so they won't let little old me just
So
buy out.
rude. So rude.
So
They
rude of them.
let you in there. So rude. Well, I am excited. I'm so grateful that you came on tonight. I don't want to hold you hostage. I know you have to do all the things. But I'm so grateful that you came on. I have been watching your journey and I just admire you. And I'm so grateful that you are the you that you are. I mean, you're just amazing. You're so bubbly. I would have never known that you're not, like I didn't talk until I was 3. And I'm like, what? Like you're so eloquent and you're so well
I didn't
presented.
talk till I was 3, but I've said more words than any child that started talking at 6 months.
You're just amazing. And I'm so in awe and I'm so grateful that there are women like you just showing their awesomeness, working with disabilities and your music therapy and all the things that you do to show that, women can do it all. We can do anything. And, the sky's the limit. It's just what we set our minds to do. And so you're incredible. I can't wait to see you next week. It's Beth says, I'm interested in hearing a song. Beth, we cannot do music because YouTube shuts us down and Facebook gets mad because of copyright stuff. So you're going to have to come see her at Miss Indiana next week to hear her sing.
So let me see which ones I've posted it on. There is for sure clips of my talent. TikTok and both Instagram should have at least one, if not multiple clips of me singing.
Ah, there we go. Perfect.
Because I posted for Indie Opera Day. And so you get to see the first recital I ever did at 16 or 15, something in that family, years old.
Wow.
All the way up to my talent last year. And throughout my college experience, some of the fun songs I've done, some of the not fun. I seem to always lean towards songs about dying. It's kind of sad, but like that's just what my voice likes. Just really sad. But opera very much stereotypes you in. So
yeah.
You end up falling in a lane, and mine seems to be, why do you hate me, world? And I'm like, I don't feel that way, but I could tell that story.
I love it. Okay, someone's asking, what is your TikTok under?
Elyssa GD, ELYSSAGD. And that's my personal Instagram as well. And then my title holder is Miss Collegiate Indie IN, Indiana.
I got that one posted for everybody.
Yep, cool.
Awesome. I appreciate you. We can't end without an onstage question, though. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Are you ready?
Of course.
I don't even know why I asked if you were ready. Of course you're ready. All right. Let's see. I had your question. Where does my question go for you? Oh, okay. I'll do this one. Name a current female figure in media that you find inspirational and why?
I feel like there's a lot of women in the media that I find inspirational. Thinking. Just one. Right now, my head is specifically going to Lizzo, not just because she's a plus size woman, but she has come through so much hate over things that she can't control. And she's showing fitness at a larger size. She's been able to do that. You can't tell me the woman's not fit when she does how many shows a week dancing on stage. She is a classically trained flautist. And for years upon years was working to get into this industry and took no after no, and now is one of the largest pop stars out there. And so for me as Miss Indiana, I know I have the opportunity to continue to show diversity. Lizzo has been one representation, but I'm a completely different person and able to do that in a completely different way in a different industry. And I want to have that opportunity to do so.
Oh, and the crowd's like, ah! I am so excited for you. I thank you again, Queen, for being on. I can't wait to see next week and all the things that are happening. I'll be following your Instagram, and I don't have my ticket yet for Miss Indiana, so I need to get going on that.
We'll find you after. We'll officially meet.
Please do.
We will officially meet. I'll say, have you been in the audience of Miss Indiana before?
No.
Okay. So Miss Indiana, you'll get your ticket, and then afterwards visitation. So there will be 30 some names all over the building.
Awesome.
On the wall. So then you
Okay.
could go look for a specific title holder and like talk to them there. And so you could go up to the Miss Collegiate Indy sign and like you'll get to meet my family. Big personalities. If you thought I had a big personality.
Okay.
My parents are from Jersey, so.
Oh my gosh, I love them. I
Yeah.
just love them already. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I am excited. I'm going to be there. I can't wait to see you. You're going to be
Thank you.
incredible on stage. Everybody, please follow her. Please vote for her on the People's Choice stuff. I'll put that link back in the post as well. And never let anybody dull your sparkle because they can't handle your shine. Thanks for tuning into Crown Chat. We are here next Monday with Queen Candace Pixley. And in the meantime, everybody have a great week. Thank you, Queen.
Thank you so much for having me. Huh?
Any final words for us or thoughts?
Just thank you for having me on. It's been wonderful. I wanted to make sure I did this before Miss Indiana, because just having the opportunity to continue spreading what I'm doing before the Miss Indiana stage and then get to really show all the things perfected once I get there. It's been really an honor to compete in this organization. As someone who's lost the opportunity and gained it again, I really get to see what this organization can do for people, and then what I as a title holder can do. And that I've really pushed myself to make new connections and new relationships, and especially with the disability community, knowing that although I'm not speaking for them, I can continue to spread their voice. So thank you so much. Please consider voting People's Choice. Follow me on Instagram, on TikTok. I am having way too much fun making content. One got sent to the group chat and I'm like, am I allowed to post this? And many of them laughed. It was just a really silly one that was about Miss America Fitness. And I was like, oh, what was it? It was the audio of like, working out gives you endorphins. Endorphins make you happy. Happy people don't kill their husbands. They don't. And I'm like, am I allowed to post this? And they're like laughing. I'm like, okay, cool. So yeah, go follow me. You'll see what's going on throughout the week. And soon you're going to get a really sappy post about why I do what I do. So yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you so
I can't wait. It's an honor to meet you. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Have a great week. And I will meet you live. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one. Alrighty. Bye-bye.
Bye.